Hi, welcome back to another episode of A to Z, you guys. It's me, Zero Rimson, and to my bottom right is your man Aaron Chase. You might notice things are a little different. That's because we had technical difficulties doing it the regular way, so we had to do it this way. Hopefully, I edited in a way that those of you watching this later won't be able to tell, but it should be fine. But welcome back to A to Z. Beneath me is my man Aaron Chase. He's in a wheelchair. He was going to represent your resident yin, the darkness, the realistic, the actual, the well experienced, and I will be your resident yang, the naive, the happy-go-lucky, the rainbow-colored glasses. And today we're going to be talking about stuff. Aaron he did it last week. He filmed his special it was in Redlands, and so he wanted to talk on that.
She was there.
Who Life Takes Faith? Oh yeah. She said Aaron is chiller in a wheelchair! Exclamation point! Question mark! Excellent. It does look like something happened to you.
No,
Like you got Professor Xavier.
the beast got him.
I don't know who the beast is.
No, that's Aaliyah. That's her over here.
Oh, damn. Oh, she's so ferocious. She so vicious. You got.
Yeah, man. We film. I mean, you were there from your I'll talk about my perspective, but what's your perspective of the whole experience?
As a whole, it was about what I expected, but not. So in my head, it was like I was expecting it to be like exactly kind of a mirror of street stand. It would be street stand up, the thing that you usually do, but then putting cameras on it. But you found a space where it's actually pretty stage-esque, and it
Yeah.
actually looked like an environment that a show is at. As far as turnout, that was about the numbers I expected. I kind of expected more people to stop in just because of the topics and being like, it's that time and being like, oh, let me see what this is about. And some people did. It was very much like, again, I see where in the long form of your thing, that draws an audience eventually.
Yeah.
But like, because you had to do a 30-minute chunk version of your thing, like telling specific stories where it didn't give people enough time to lock in
Yeah.
or see what it's about, at least not the passerbys, you know. In general, it was interesting too to see that like with cameras, it feels like there was an how do I put like the cameras weirdly felt like they made people, and I may be misjudging, but it felt like it kept people from laughing at places they would usually laugh. Like
Yeah.
I felt like being in the audience, it felt like I would laugh at things and I'm like, huh, yeah, that's funny. And I was like, and I would look around mostly because I was looking for Dro because he like kept disappearing. But like in general, I would laugh, and then I would see other people, and I could see they were paying attention. They were there,
Yeah.
but it's like they wouldn't let themselves laugh, and I think they didn't want to disturb I think the performance. They didn't want to disturb the recording of the performance because you were talking about more serious topics.
Yeah.
It wasn't like joke, 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 joke. That I feel like they were like, oh, well, he's making a point. Even though that was a funny bit, I'm going to let it ride because I don't want to mess up the recording. He's filming this for something. So let me just be quiet. It felt like it was hindering a little bit, but not a lot. They still let out a chuckle here and there. But like in general, I felt like that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was that there were definitely moments where I was like, I know I've gotten laughs on the street. I've said some similar stuff, and it's fine. I think I think I handle that better. I handle it pretty well now when people don't laugh. Like it's fine. I just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't feel like it rocked you at all.
Yeah. A spectacle.
Nicholas Flores _. I don't know if he's talking about you being shirtless right now, or if do you know if this person was at the thing?
I don't. I don't recognize that. I guess we'll find out when Nicholas responds again. But I was, when I did it, when on the way home, I was like, that was a meh performance. It was really meh. And then when I have the raw footage of just the straight shot, I rewatched it and I was like, oh, actually, you know what? It flowed. It actually made sense, and things came back full circle, and that was really nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I also was impressed because I didn't know, but Dro asked, and turns out they did, and they sent me a version of the my when you for those of you that weren't there, Aaron, at the end after he cut it, like after he got done with the special, like there was just a little bit of like, well, I got jokes I can work on, so Aaron did a couple of jokes he was working on, and then he threw me up because I was there and he knows I'm a comic, and time is all that important and all that stuff, which I appreciate. So I went up and did, and some I don't know which one. I think the main guy he recorded my set, and Dro asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, I have it." And so he sent me, and I was like, "Man, that footage is like
Right?
it looks so legit." And I was like, "Oh, this is nice." Like even if I had done like horribly, like performance wise, the production value on it like gave it this credibility that's like you know the difference is like you've seen stuff recorded on phones, you've seen stuff recorded on like kind of better cameras, but then I saw it on that one. I was like, this looks like I'm in something. Like
Yeah.
if I put a credit thing on this, like I think I could trick somebody into thinking I was a part of a thing. But like that was
The
very
the visual, and you know what's crazy is Bryce sent you the shitty visual version. He's gonna touch it up. He's gonna make it look nice. We're gonna have an intro to lead in, an outro. Like it, I'm really impressed. I'm gonna pat myself on my back real quick. Zero. I'm actually impressed by how it came out.
that's good. Well,
Yeah.
good. As long as you like it, that's the first and most foremost is like that you enjoy the art that you create, or again that it does something for you. What would you say you learned from the experience, or what would you take from it? How would you better it if you do another iteration? If you plan on doing another, what are you moving forward? Excuse me.
If I were to do it again, I
Also,
think
tiny thing, tiny. This is a technical. If you could back up a little bit, because I'm thinking of the edit of this. Yeah, there we go. Because
okay,
I just realized the circle is gonna cut off like the whole of your face. Sorry, go
got
ahead.
you. Um, if I could, I don't know, in the future when I film again, I think I'm gonna try to do it not inside or not outside. Like the
Not
I
outside.
no, not I if I whenever I film something again, I think I want to try to make it so that I don't have to be outside when I do it
Okay. Why?
because it's very like there was a point. You remember when I said nigger over and over again?
Yes. I mean, which one?
I
Yeah.
I looked to my left, and there was this family and this girl that she looked like maybe she was 19, a little white girl, who looked really upset and offended. And I know, irony.
That's a hilarious concept to me. It's like, hey, that guy's saying the N word. It's like,
Yeah,
that's kind of the thing that, like, now you have an idea of what I'm dealing with, not even close, but like you get the weirdness that you're like offended by me saying it in a retelling where I got called it
yeah.
insultingly.
I don't think I don't think she heard the context as to why I was saying it. KJ says, "Yeah, that was bad, bro. You weren't there. Stop acting like you were there. Stop acting like you're being supportive." Uh, so
I love that. But you say it horribly though.
I say, KJ, say how it was said to me.
That's funny. That's a funny
Um,
premise. I would love to hear his version of saying it. Type it out in Ebonics. Go ahead.
in that Detroit language. But I
That was
seen the preliminary shit. Fair. So yeah, seeing that, I was like, I forget sometimes that I'm like, this is out on this, like anybody can listen to this. So that's something that throws it off a little bit, and the wind kind of comes in. But
in
no,
the audio.
yeah, a little bit, but it doesn't hurt it. It makes it feel like you're out there, kind of
Okay. Okay, that's good.
with a
Now, white people say it with a little panache.
panache, panache.
I'm not that educated.
Yeah, that's maybe British white people or like New Zealand's, but not in Riverside. There's no panache, and I don't think they don't know how to pronounce panache.
But yeah.
Anyway, so no, I was proud of it. I wonder how. First off, I'm lowering my expectations Y'all can't read. All right, I'm ignoring you, Jeff.
That's true. No, you're right. Like, you're right. I can't tell you the last time I picked up a book.
But fuck was I saying? I wonder, lowering my expectations of how many people will see it. Like, I don't think, I think about 100 people will see it.
Okay. Do you think like see it in like they'll click on the video or see it in full, like watch it all the way through?
I think that they'll stop at the 5-minute mark.
Okay. All right. That's still something. You can get them sitting at all. That's something. And again, you might get, I know I've personally watched somebody at our levels thing, and then I'll stop and then I'll come back to it. Everyone will see it. See, he is supportive.
I believe anything.
He's razzing. I believe you, KJ.
Don't believe him.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sap. I believe you. Anyway, what was the budget? What was the budget?
There was no budget.
You funny. That's a hilarious concept. You think anybody got paid? No, you did though.
I got paid $1.
Yeah, you got $1. That was nice. What'd you
Watch
spend that on?
What's
What'd you
up?
save it on? Yeah, thanks, Zero. No problem, KJ. I'm the positive here. Anywho, so you would want to do it indoors. You like to temper your expectations with how many people are going to see it. So the indoor version of it, if again, big ifs and what, like, would you still do the story thing, or are you talking about like you're doing comedy now? Like this
Comedy now. Comedy.
Okay. So this was like or at least for this section of your life, was a one-time thing of getting off your chest those intense stories. Are you treating it like jokes and going, that's over there now? Like,
Yeah.
I don't speak on these issues unless somebody's like actively asking me about these issues. Now they're like over there. Will you see yourself doing those same things on the streets still?
Yeah, I still talk about it on the street because those people haven't heard any of the stuff before, but I don't want to be known as like the TED Talk comedian.
Right.
So next time I film, I get a sense of like, oh, I know how to make this happen now. I know what it's going to take. We have multiple angles. I get what it feels like to have the camera on you because it feels different. It feels more intense. Right. And now, and I also can gauge now, like, okay, when I don't know how many people, I've gained a lot of followers at this, couple hundred followers now, and all of them say like, I want to come out. Let me know when you're out. I'll be out there. And so it was also a test to see how
would really stick to that.
Yeah, how realistic that actually is. So I think if I had roughly 900 something followers when I put this out there, and about 5 people showed up, decided to show up, then I need at least a lot more before I go trying to do a comedy show in an indoor venue.
Right. Would you say, and we talked about this on the episode with Dro, what did anybody reach out to you as the dates were coming closer and go, hey, I'd love to make it, but I can't? Like, at least giving you the reason that they're not coming? Or was it just
people? There was about 4 people that said, I am coming and I'm bringing people. Then the day of, or maybe the day before, they said, I can't, and I'm sorry, which is fine. Like, I'm not mad at it. This was a test, so, I got to get the vibe.
I get what you're saying. I was interested on the back end where it's like, yeah, you could judge it by, that's the problem with doing like one-time test, right? It's like, it's a one-time test. So it's like, yeah, you can see that some people did come out, but would A, those same people come out, or B, with the people who said they were gonna but then couldn't, would they cancel again? Or was that also just bad timing? Because again, it was kind of a like, how long between you thought of deciding to do the project and then like doing the project did it take?
I decided to do it, or I said I wanted to do it after I saw, what did KJ say?
He said, that's not representative to how many followers you have. Your promo skills is more comparative.
All right. Well, that was actually productive. Thank you, KJ.
You have such an interesting relationship with KJ. You're like ready for him to be mean to you.
I don't. Have you seen Kill Bill?
I have.
You remember Kill Bill Volume 2 where he meets she meets the dude who does this with his fucking...
Oh, the long beard? Yeah, her master.
Yeah. It feels like in the beginning when she first meets him. Nilgus? All right. It feels like in the beginning when she first meets him and he's just an asshole. And so now I don't... It's fun. Like, we'll talk about KJ in another thing.
Okay.
Talk about KJ.
Focus
KJ,
on the special.
Paime.
I think that's the name of the guy.
All right. Anyway, KJ, stop hijacking this fucking thing.
You keep giving them attention.
I know. I'm gonna ignore KJ. I'm ignoring you, KJ. I'm gonna treat you how my mom treats me. I'm ignoring you. All right.
The darkness came out.
Yeah.
The sad came out.
What was that? What were we talking about?
You were saying how... Wow, I got so sidetracked now. Okay, we were talking about the special, how things have changed, representative of numbers, how this was a test. I was telling you how, like, well, it was just a one-time test. You don't know if that was just a happenstance of bad time. I was asking you how long it took between deciding to do the special and actually putting on the special.
That's right. I saw Dave Chappelle's, but I saw 846, and I was like, I could do that. Not the skill,
yeah,
but the simplicity of how it was filmed. The intro, putting it into context. I know Bryce is a good filmmaker, so like, I knew I could make it happen on a technical level. It was just a matter of seeing if I could get people to come and if I could organize the set in a nice, compact way.
Right. How long did it take?
I want to say a week.
A week? See, that's the thing that sometimes, again, we've talked about this, sometimes it's the thing of people in general. A lot of this, and then they don't show up, and that's just people are fickle sometimes. A lot of times it is just like better planning. Like, yeah, we are in the middle of like everything still going down, and especially like, didn't it just come out this week that we're going back into shutdown mode? Like,
yeah.
So like, there's a lot of day-by-day adjustments, especially in the time that we're living in right now.
Yeah.
And so, like, giving people a week, at least in my experience, I know I've tried to throw several parties or get-togethers and try to get a bunch of people in, and, like, it never works out within a week. Now, if I give it, like, a month out, then a little bit more, but I can't even say even that's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. But like you said, a lot of this was just figuring it out, learning, growing, all that stuff.
And this is going by, it's just reminding me that, like, just disconnecting from people is so helpful for me. Well, and it was hot as hell that day. Yeah, it was burning up on that stage, man. It was ridiculous.
Thank you. You went shirtless immediately.
Yeah. Thank you for coming out, by the way. I appreciate it. What's up?
That alone deters people. Just that she's restating how hot it was.
Right. Yeah, just the disconnect from people. Like, it feels so much better. It feels like I can just experiment. I can just be like, whatever, we'll try this. How's it gonna hurt anything?
Right.
I mean, well, I don't know. I think that I said some really aggressive stuff. I don't know how people are gonna take that.
Yeah, that was one of the things where, again, you know me, it's like I come in innocent eyes. And I try to see the perspectives of everybody, even. Like,
oh, shit.
What did you break?
No. Okay, so my mom got me an electric fly swatter.
Guys, if you don't know about the podcast at this point, Aaron has an ongoing feud with the flies in his garage where he's always in a battle with at least one every episode. He has 3 of these tapes up. He's got an electric fly swatter.
I have 2 electric...
It's electric. It's a ridiculous amount of fly-killing devices in his house, and it never helps. There's always still a couple that get in. But yeah, that's what he's battling.
Yeah.
at the same time, what was I saying? I was saying how, yeah, so I went to the thing, and that was another thing that I experienced is like understanding, like it wasn't until I was there that I understood that, like, oh, this is why Aaron gets in trouble. like, like, I'm like, I hear all your stories. If you've seen the podcast before, Aaron tells the stories of his perspective of being on the street stand up and how people will come out of their way and be super rude. I tried to tell you that's where it was too hard body, bro. You got to chill some stage presence. But I get what you're coming from, KJ. I totally get you. This is where I'm going with this. But at the same time, you got to let Aaron be Aaron. He's just going to do his thing. And he will adjust once. I feel like it's kind of like telling a kid not to touch a hot stove and letting them touch the hot stove. Just let them touch the hot stove. Some kids can take holding their hand on the stove for a pretty long time. And other kids are like, I don't need to do that ever. And, you know, he has his inspirational quote from Dave, and he's rocking with that. So, yep. So that's
I feel happier.
Yeah. And so in your being happy, as I wouldn't even say I'm a regular, but I understand the sensibilities where like I was out in the element of it and the open space, and the speaker is in my mind, the speaker like would hit and go about as far as like down a little bit down the street. Like I could be within sight. Like if you can see me, I can probably hear it. That's about where I thought it was. But then being there, I was like, oh, no, this goes for a while. Like if I was down the street a couple, like maybe one block, I could hear at least the faint whisper of this speaker system. And then to be like next to it or like in front of it, and then you do the N-word, like like back to back in mega sequence. I'm like, I know I'm safe,
yeah.
but like I'm looking around like it was as if in that moment I like that girl walking by, it's like I become a white person who's like oh no, we're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna get in trouble, dude. And so it's like that thing where it's like I could see where blasting that out again, like you said, you're in full range of anybody can hear you and anybody can take it any way they want. And if you're at the like restaurants down the street eating and then you just hear some kid yelling the N-word several times over, you're like, what is happening? Like it's one of those social things that you don't expect. You don't expect
100% glad you went hard. Yes, just right.
Yeah. But, you know, it's like, of course, like there's people who like want it to soak the flames. There are those of us who are like, hey, easy. And there's the in between. It's a whole to do where it's like, it does have a place. Again, you are speaking your truth to a certain point. But then on the other hand, it is that thing you say where it's like, they're also like, just everybody's going about their day, not trying to be assaulted.
It's a warm Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it's the thing of like freedom of speech, right? It's like you get to do and say what you want, and that's again, you're aware of the things that will come from it. You're aware that like that's the thing, and you might get some from it, you might not get it. Like it is what it is. And so at the same time, it's just interesting to be out in it and be like, that's probably why. Because when you hear the stories, it's like, oh, innocent Aaron is telling his story about how he got called the N-word. Hey, you win and you lose. See, KJ gets it. Black men get it. But it's the thing of like, go ahead.
My feelings on how aggressive it is. If you're walking past it and you're just in it, I totally understand and respect why someone would be upset or uncomfortable. Yeah. But when you watch it like I've rewatched it a few times to make sure I don't sound like a crazy person before I put it out there. And I was rewatching it and listening to it. It's not what I'm saying isn't unreasonable. Like these are things
in the context of what's going on. Like listening to you and being in it, it works within the context of the story. But again, I'm bought into the show. It's like what you're saying. It's like when you're doing your thing and you don't expect to hear it and you're barely listening, but everybody's immediately listening when the no word comes on. Like it just automatic trigger. It's all that stuff. But you were saying. I don't know. There's this like,
you know what? Overall, regardless if people are upset or not, it makes me feel happy to get it, to be able to. There's a catharsis.
Yeah.
Like, when I do it on the street, it's one thing because it goes out into the ether and I have to redo it again over and over again. And it's almost like reliving the shit over and over again. Whereas now it's like cemented. If someone's like, well, what happened to you? I can be like, go watch this special. Go watch it.
Right.
And also, I'm having trouble with, like, should I even call it a comedy special? What the fuck should I call it?
I will say, I think it's, again, I said this on the last one with how you described it. I think it's more of a one-man show. Like, yes, Dave also called his a comedy special. Or I don't know. I think Netflix more did that. I don't think Dave did that. But, like, it's more of a one-man show. It's more of you telling your stories. Like, like, I don't know if you ever went to LA back when everything was fine and dandy, and like there's subsections of doing comedy that are kind of like hyper focused, and they broke theirs into like their stand up.
Wait. KJ said a comedy insert.
I have never heard of that for real.
I might actually take that. I might call it a comedy insert. One man show, comedy insert.
Okay.
See, you don't look excited about that idea.
I just don't. The word insert is weird. It's either the word insert is weird or the word comedy is weird, but those two words together don't describe what I saw in that show to me. That's just me. Like, that's the thing. Adding the word comedy, I feel like sets up an expectation. Did you get it?
I got him.
So proud of you.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Now pay me.
Hold up. But, this fly carcass. You see it?
Lament over the bodies of your children. Isn't this the quality content you guys came for? Look at this dead fly.
I'm in a battle, man. I'm in a battle out here.
And I mean, you're in a war. You've been fighting it every week. Like every day is a battle.
Every single day, I kill at least 5 or 6 flies.
Jeez. You're massacring flies, man. You
Anyway.
gotta try diplomacy with these flies. No. And you got slave feet. That's what KJ said.
That's what KJ gets out of this.
That's about right. But what was I saying? The thing of, what was the last thing you said? Because now I forgot what I was saying.
Comedy insert.
Oh, yeah. For me, that's what I was saying. To me, adding the word comedy sets up an expectation that I do not feel like this was.
Yeah.
There are jokes in it. There are bits in it. And I think they add levity. And I think there is comedy in it. But I would not describe what I saw as comedy. It's like if, like, have you ever heard of a vagina monologue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it felt like that, but like for a black man. It's like you're telling your specific stories. Is calling it comedy activism too much? Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't call it that specifically because it's not.
This is the thing I'm worried about. I don't want people to misinterpret me as an activist. Or, like, you know what I mean? Can you, fuck. God damn it. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Does this look like a leader?
Hold on.
Is this who you want? This is your activist? He can't handle flies. He's the voice of a people. Yeah, flies.
I hate flies more than I hate Nazis.
Just these freaking flies, man.
Yeah,
they're really oppressing you in your garage, your day-to-day life. You thought you were getting gaslit by people. These flies got you thinking you're not even killing them.
I don't want to be called an activist. Bro, one fly is getting you this upset. No, it's not one, KJ.
Tell me this isn't a beautiful metaphor for your life.
God damn. It's not one.
It's not one fly. It's flies every day that he keeps killing. And they just come back more.
Endless. Anyway, I don't want to be called an activist because I do silly shit. Like, I'm a comic. I'm a comic. If you ever saw a video of Martin Luther King running around shirtless with slave feet, killing flies, you'd be like, I don't respect this guy as an activist.
I mean, look at this fly. Look at it.
So
These mothers.
I just want to like it's weird. I keep saying this, but this is just a very weird time. The flies, we're not gonna take it. All right. This is just a weird time, and what I'm doing is strange, and it's an amalgamation of all of that. Of like, I don't even know how to. All of this is just weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and you're figuring it out, right? It's fine either way. Again, you'll name it whatever you name it. The good thing about, I don't know, where are you releasing it exactly? YouTube?
I'm gonna put it on YouTube, and we already have a name.
Oh, what's the name?
It's gonna be. I think. I don't know. What do you think of this? Actually,
several times over. Have you seen that special?
I think I might call it Good Black Person.
Oh, okay.
I think it would. First off, there is a level of it's like kind of inflammatory, and I think it might trick the type of person I would like to see it to watch it.
Okay.
You know, they'll see the title and they'll be like, "This sounds about my speed. Let me have my beliefs continued."
Right.
Or whatever, and then they'll watch it.
He's talking about the opposite of what I think.
Yeah. KJ doesn't like the title. What would you suggest, KJ?
Did he say that? I didn't see
He says boo.
Well, I don't know if that's to. Oh, is that to the title?
Okay. I assume.
But yeah, I'm fine with it. I get why you called it that. Words. My brain really shot blanks there. But yeah, that was it was a very interesting, again, in another world. It's one of those things where it's like, I do see the mechanisms of your brain. He said yes to the title, so boo, it was to the title. Okay.
So he's saying yes to the title, but boo to something else is what I'm.
No, he's saying. Oh, that's how you decided to interpret it.
That's how I decided to interpret
it. Okay, cool. But again, I see the mechanisms of your mind working where it's like, I see where what you did, like at that thing, even though it wasn't gangbusters, it wasn't like a huge crowd or nothing, but like, I see the seed of it that needs to be watered, and maybe in the normal world, it would have been a more like, whoa thing, but he went with the name Aaron's Comedy Insert.
I'm not.
That is a very
that sounds like it should be on a language book in a middle school.
Aaron's Comedy Insert. Today, Aaron walked on stage. Aaron said some stuff about black people. People were concerned. Aaron got off stage.
I'm getting support. KJ Rude, the Charmeleon metaphor was awesome. He wasn't there. Just in context, KJ is a comedian. He wasn't there. He's just talking shit because he's a fucking asshole and he's jealous.
I don't see your comedy insert, KJ.
Yeah, where's your comedy insert, KJ? Where are your stories of the Detroit streets? You should call your comedy special Pop. Just call your comedy special Pop, KJ. All right. Okay. What were you saying?
But yeah, it was a fun, interesting experience. Being a part of it was interesting. It's also interesting to just get back on stage at all. Just talking from my perspective.
Yeah. How did that feel for you?
For me, it was like it was interesting because at first when you said I might, like at the very end where you tagged it on, you were like, yeah, you could come up and do some time. I was like, oh, of course I'm going to take it because I don't get time anymore and I need to do time. At the same time, I was like, geez, I haven't had to actually say my stuff to anyone besides a camera in my room. So let me figure out what bits do I want to try new? Do I want to try old? And then I was like, okay, I'll do a mix of old and new. And then as I was running through it, I was like, do I remember it? Like, I got to remember it. And I was running through it really quickly in my mind. I'm like, I'm going to mess it up. I don't have this memorized. And then I got on stage, did the first little riff, just talking about our differences and all stuff, just what was coming to my mind. Then I kicked into what I knew. And it's crazy how fast it all came back. Yeah. Like, that was one of my bigger concerns about the whole, like, putting us on hold coronavirus thing, is that I would lose all of it. That, like, it wouldn't just be the memory, it'd be the way I do it. And don't get me wrong, I fumbled a little bit. There's stuff that's subtly, like, I'm off a little bit. But in general, I had the main base points and the main base of all of my jokes came out. So I was happy about the fact that it's like, okay, I didn't lose all of it. At the same time, it was also interesting to be in that type of venue, as it were,
Yeah.
like being out doing an outdoors. And I did outdoor open mics before, but in the specific, like, first of all, I'm following the thing that you did. So
Yeah.
just rather than take that. And there was a part of me that was like, I don't want to undercut any of his stuff, but I also am doing jokes. So I'll stick to the thing that I kind of like rant about.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay, okay. I'll stick to the thing. I lost it on the day. It's fine. He deserves this. He thinks he's the man. But yeah, I was just reading comments. But yeah, to me, it was like it was interesting to do the bits, and I could see people smiling and laughing, but like they were so at a distance that I couldn't really hear them. Like because like usually when you're in like a room, even if they like giggle or smile or it comes out a little bit, it like I can hear it and it's there. Whereas when I'm on stage and there's so much space between me and every single person, then like the laughs are kind of like they're like, yeah, and I'll see the shoulders and I'll see the head, but I'm not hearing or feeling so much of it. That's why I watched myself back and I see myself, I'm doing a lot of looking around. Like, don't get me wrong, I usually do some looking around, but I feel myself like individually going, okay, that person enjoyed it. Okay, that person, okay, they're rocking with it. Okay, they're kind of gone. They're with it. Like, I was just taking mental note of everybody because I couldn't hear them. So it was very interesting in that way. But again, I'm just proud that I was able to do it and get relative laughs here and there. I will say again, I felt like there was a camera that I watched back the footage and like I'm like I saw that dude laugh,
Yeah.
but like on the camera, like I mean I could see it in his face and in his body language, but it was like not coming out. And I think it's because I don't want to shake the camera or mess up the footage. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I understand. It was just an interesting, subtle thing that was going on with that.
That's the thing I really have been enjoying about street stand-up is that, like, because the laughs are very rarely big and loud or whatever, that you just kind of have to you just keep moving forward. You get used to it, and it's fine. And then then when in doing a regular show, when there are people and they're close up and they're paying attention and they give a big laugh, it's easier to just sit into it because you've been sitting into silence constantly.
Yeah. No, and that was the other thing about it. It was like got my hit, like my hit of the drug.
Yeah.
And as you were like, as you lit me and I was going through more bud killing. As you lit me for my final minute and I was going through my last bit, I was like, man, I just want to do more bits. Like getting off stage felt like, oh, I want to do for hours. I got material I still need to work on. I got a bunch of stuff I want to say. And like, that's just like, I got the like, oh, the like, oh yeah, I forgot this feeling. And it's gone. And we're done. Like, I'm like, oh man. And so that was a nice refresher, but also kind of mean because now I got withdrawals. But yeah.
Sorry. One of them attacked, and so I had to fight it off. Anyway, yeah, I can't be an activist. Not after all this shit.
The resistance is becoming stronger.
Yeah.
But
what were we talking about?
We were talking about how outdoor comedy is different again, and how like how I experienced it, and versus how like what you've learned from how you use it and are going to use it going forward.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how open mics will work in the future. Just because like there's no incentive for me at the moment to make any open mics.
Mm-hmm.
I have no incentive to do it. It's a headache. I have to deal with setting stuff up. I have to deal with venues. I have to deal with comedians. I have to deal with all this shit. It's like, hi Harrison. It's like, why would I put all this energy into this and make myself miserable when I can just go on the street, work out all the stuff I need to work out, and then then go home and maybe make some followers. Like, why the fuck would I create more open mics? You know what I mean?
Right. And I think it's one of those things that if the world continues in the path that it has been, outdoor is going to become the only source to do it. It's just going to take somebody who, A, has the materials, and B, is willing or wants to put it on, because like, yeah, you're doing it like, that's you, this is me, I'm not, this isn't for other people, this is for me.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody else will probably come in with open mic mentality, is like, oh, I'll create that space just because I want some of that time, but also I understand that comics need that time. So I'll be annoyed by people and I'll start it. And maybe in starting that annoying powder keg, then other people will be inspired to go get their own speakers and then do their own thing. Like, pretty much your biggest fear is somebody realizing that if we stay in Corona world, the only move is to do outdoor shows. Like,
right.
Because you can't have people stacked together except when you can spread them out. Like even Dave's 846 thing, right? It's like they have seats, but the seats are like all distanced apart. Everybody has masks. It's all safe and all been good and stuff. In my head, my version of the future of that is, you've heard like drive-in comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with Dave in his special where it's like people honk at jokes. I'm like, yeah, that's not the thing. But like maybe get people out, like how you go into a drive-in movie, have them sit in the back of their trunks or like on top of their cars or just around their general vicinity. Then you still get the laughs of people coming to your shows while maintaining the safety. That's the future of like way up there. Meanwhile, while we're at this level, yeah, the open mic version is just going to come down to somebody buying a speaker that can be out there and being like, hey, I got a spot, which is, there's a bunch of them around. Like, that's what I was telling you about that, the place that you filmed the special, that I was like, there's one of these, like, by my house that's really weird. They're like, they call it the amphitheater, but nobody ever uses. And there's like a bunch of them around California, and every city has them because I guess back in the day they used to do stuff. But like now those are just all empty lots. And so it's just a matter of like, eventually those tides will turn. Or people will do what they've been doing recently.
Which is?
Well, they've been doing a combination of live shows, from what I've seen. Live shows, skits, podcasts, and kind of like this or Twitch YouTubing.
Yeah.
Like those are like the four avenues that comedians who are at our level and what I've seen from our fellows that like they've been going into is like, I'll do this in the meantime. Like I can't get on stage. This is what I'll do until then. And so meanwhile, there are other people. Again, there's a whole crew in LA called Channel 310. They're pretty legit. They've been doing like beach stand-up and stuff. Like, they're already in that vein. And so it's just a matter of like, I mean, things, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It could go either way. It's still very much up in the air. But I think if again, we stay on this trajectory, it's inevitable that outdoors will become the thing.
It makes me wonder, I mean, depending on what goes on, it makes me wonder what the IE comedy scene, if it'll even exist soon.
Really?
Just because, like, I was thinking about, what other mics were there? I know there were other mics in the IE, other than my system shit. How many other mics were there?
In the IE or in general?
In the fucking in general, thousands. But like in the IE, in the Inland Empire, how many mics were there? That were not buddy system.
That were not run by you guys?
Yeah.
I think 2. I don't know. Was Juan CS with you?
He was, and then a whole thing. I'll tell you about that off there.
Okay.
But a whole thing happened.
I think like 2.
2?
I think I remember there were about 2. Now, these are the ones that are specifically geared towards comedy. If you want to go into like mixed mics, then I think like 4.
4? I was thinking about it. I was like, well, we had shows we had mics essentially Monday through Friday. Then we had 2 or 3 book shows at least bi-weekly or once a month. So that was like 8 different shows. When you take away, so that's 8. 13 shows altogether, and that's including the buddy system. You like how I hid away my counting?
Uh-huh.
Um, but that's like 13 shows, and then you get rid of the buddy system. You're assuming that those other shows come back. You got 4, and that's just not enough to sustain a comedy community. That's not enough time. So
Right.
it makes me wonder, like, what was going to happen, because I'm not going to be the one doing it. I'm just not going to volunteer for that anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing about, right? Okay, so there's a couple things. Like, yeah, it could fall out and turn into nothing. It could also leave a gap for somebody else to step up and like take reins. It could also create this weird like vacuum wherein like because all of the all of the mics pre-COVID existed, but because of COVID got wiped out. Now it's a fresh slate. With the fresh slate, some kid who we don't even know, like they've never interacted with it. They don't even know the IE buddy system exists. They don't know nothing about that. And they're like, I want to do open mics, and I've been going to mixed ones. I'm just going to start my own. They have essentially the same drive and go as you, except they are willing to put up with the nonsense that comes on the back end. And
For a little
that
bit.
kid creates a thing. And then they're doing the thing until either they're not doing a thing, or maybe they luck out and get a community that's more working with them, or just the dice roll of the universe, right? I don't think it'll ever die. I think it might go into recession. Like, I think it'll go into like what Pomona has become, right? Where it's like there are like 2 or 3 open mics if you really want to dig in Pomona, but like in general, it's kind of empty. It's like, but like it used to be, like there was a good couple. There was a while there where there was like one every, I would say like five a week. But yeah, and that's the up and down of comedy anyway, because businesses were always like, you're not bringing in money, so you're out of here. And then you find another business, and that's the whole juggling act that is keeping mics open. But as far as like, yeah, you in the system, I get what you mean. Like, yeah, there has been a definite fallout that like, those people you described that like are like, you can kind of tell they're on the line of comedy where it's like, it's a fun thing that I do. I want it to be my dream, but it's like, I don't commit. I don't really go to that many. I don't really like this and that are kind of just waiting around for eventually some mic to open up some way, and they're not doing like a podcast or skits or any version of working on their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I see those people disappearing. I see those people like because they were already barely doing it when there were 7. So how are they going to do it when there's none? It's unfeasible to stick to it at that point. But I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. I will say that it's going to be fascinating, the things that come from this. But every system evolves. Every system changes. The thing about humans is we're so adaptive that we want to do our thing. Those of us that want to do the thing will find a way to do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how yet. We don't know when or where or why, but we will. And
Yo, you want to hear some pettiness?
What?
Also, we got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Also, when this closes, what do I have to do again?
It's going to ask you to end it, or it'll end it automatically. It's going to say share to IG. You want to pick share to IG.
Okay. So, pettiness.
Sorry.
Do you remember? I can't remember who posted it, and it doesn't really matter who posted it. It's not the point of it. But someone was complaining about all the open mics. Do you remember that?
This sounds familiar.
I'm gonna send you the old ACMM about it, because I responded to all of the comments, or the bigger comments in it, and now that all of this is happening, there's this like, I told you so, but almost like a okay, oh, you got what you wanted. What's up?
Yeah. That it feels so empty without me.
Hey, Slim Shady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know the references. I know what the kids listen to. They listen to Slim Shady.
Yeah, of course. Eminem, that's still in, right?
Yeah.
It's like Stan.
But no, there's this piece of me that's like, all right, well, you got what you wanted. We're not making open mics or shows anymore. Have fun with that. And what I anticipate is those people aren't going to make shows. Like there was the big complaint was like, well, all of these open mics are not leaving room for shows. It's like, all right, well now you have the chance because I'm not making open mics. You're making a face. Yeah.
Because I don't understand the logic.
Oh, there it was no logic. But
Don't try. It's not there.
I responded. I'll send you the episode of ACMM. I respond to all of
Okay.
them, but and I read out the comments so you get the context of what I'm saying. But
Okay.
it's like it's one of those things where it's like now I'm not going to be setting up these shows like that anymore. I mean, I'll set up shows for myself. It's all for me now. I'm not. It's not about community. It's not about helping other people. This is all me. And so now that I have that mentality, I'm very curious how those people will adapt. Like now that like, okay, I'm not gonna make a bunch of open mics for people. I'm not gonna make a bunch of shows for people. It's not about you anymore. This is about me.
Right.
Okay, you got what you wanted.
Well, that's the thing. It is that, right? And they could it could go either way. Again, like I said, like it could go the petty way. That's like, okay, they go on to do nothing and it's just nothing, and then they just sit there and don't do anything. They could also be like, well, that then, like that. No, you think that because you aren't around, you're so special. Like, okay, I'm gonna find a way to spite you, to spite you and do it, or not even thinking about you.
I hope that happens. That's the thing that is so like, I hope a kid who didn't know anything about the buddy system comes by and is like, oh, there's all this patch of land here. Let's build some shit. I hope that happens. I hope that people make shows and produce shit, because then that just leaves more room for shows for me to get on. Like, I hope that happens. The thing is, I really don't think it will. Knowing what it was like trying to keep all of that shit together, it's like, I really don't think anybody is going to be able to do that.
What would you say was the hardest part for you? I'm sorry, no, not for you, not for you, because I know that you've been over that several times dealing with comics. What would you say is, if new kid comes in, what would you say is what's the hurdle for you that, like, okay, this is how far we got it, so I know you can get to where I got. How would you help that kid get from where you got to the next? Keep the circle small. Okay.
So like, if the goal, because in my head it was like, all right, everyone needs to be good. Everyone needs to be really good. So in my head, I had this big net of like, everyone in the IE is gonna put in work and get good. What I didn't realize was like, there's a reason why 1% of the population, if that, are comedians, and that's because not everyone's gonna do it. So if I were to give advice to a kid starting up, I would say, find the people that seem the most serious about this, that aren't fucking around. There's still going to be people that trick you and make them think that they're serious, but they'll fall off. Just ignore them. Keep that circle small and tight, and make sure push everybody in that circle. Maybe 5 people at the most that you actually think will do this. 5 people at the most, and then build on that. And then
I'm sorry. Would you say those 5 people still do? Are they doing their own open mics? What would you say, like, where is their steps?
If you're trying to build something like
because to me is like, yeah, I do see the mechanisms that created the buddy system and got it to the point that it got to, but then there's the hiccup of where it was. Now, to be fair, you guys were on a rise, and then COVID hit, and then like that. But it's that thing of like, the main hurdle with all of this is that main part that everybody struggles with, which is the breaking in, the convincing, the thing that you just tested, right? Getting a couple people to show up. Just what do you think is, or what have you learned as far as like your methods of turnover? So like getting people to go from, I saw you at this thing, or getting people to even show up to this thing, getting people to show up places, essentially. Have you come to any conclusions from that? Are you still very much in the experimental phase? What's the next phase of the experimental thing? For me, I'll give you mine. I know we have only a few more minutes, but for me, what I'm realizing is, much like you, that as much as my followers are a good indication of me growing and getting people to recognize me, as far as the turnover from that it's probably like 0.01%, like getting them to actually come out. So
Yeah.
I've been working on the marketing side of just, if I push my stuff so hard that everyone recognizes the name, like just the brand recognition, then people will buy in because it's already cool. It's trying to get to the it's already cool kind of by tricking the system, where
Yeah.
it's like most people are like, again, that I'm not going to touch it until it's already good.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really care to analyze. I mean, you see how people handle the news. They read one article title and then they keep it moving. It's the same. It's like, oh, I see that this has a lot of views. It must be good. Therefore, this guy must be good. I'm going to go see his stuff. And I haven't gotten around to testing my new theory yet. I know that my subscribers have also gone up by a bit, and I've kept it pretty focused to my section of California. So I am interested to press that button when I get the chance and I come up with a venue. But last I was able to get like 3 people out to a thing. So I'm trying to piece together, again, like I've always said, or I didn't mention on this, but I've said before, I feel like each of us has a piece of a puzzle. And if we could just put those pieces together and like that would be it. Like it's essentially what the buddy system is, minus the minus the you have to get done with your version of the project in order for my version of the project to get done. It's like we're all doing projects and each of us are learning a thing. If we could combine that knowledge, then we all have the knowledge. But I know it's something about the way I'm marketing. I just got to figure out a better way to market. And that's why I'm picking your brain about like where you're at with marketing. What's your turnover? What have you learned as far as pushing yourself and putting yourself out there? If you have any insight on that, it's completely fine. If you don't, this is just where my brain is with stuff.
We have a minute left. Do you want to just start, and do you want to end and then start over again?
Yeah, end, start up, and then we'll wrap it. Okay. Long story short, what I was asking you to summarize where I was ending is what have you learned about what have you learned about the marketing side of doing comedy?
Hold up a second. Marcus Griffin says this motherfucker don't know what to do with himself. Put a shirt on, man. I feel like Marcus Griffin is just jealous that he's not as thin as me, even though he does so much pain. Like
it's also very hot. I'm like this close to taking off my shirt, and I'm indoors with fans blowing on me.
Oh, it's hot as fuck out here. Marcus,
California, man.
Marcus, do some push-ups and some sit-ups. Put the cocaine away. Do some push-ups and sit-ups. Then you're welcome to take your shirt off in front of cameras. Okay? Anyway.
Do cocaine and sit-ups? Man, that's a hard regimen.
Whatever you need to do.
LOA, they cut my with sugar.
Is that where all of that comes from? All that fat?
He's fat. It's because his cocaine has sugar in it. That's silly.
Anyway. What? I'm sorry, man. What was the question again?
Marketing.
I'm actually losing weight. All right, we'll see whenever COVID stops. I don't believe him. So marketing. I would say
lessons learned and current experimenting with.
The lesson I'm learning is George was the marketing guy.
Ah, okay.
So I didn't know. KJ brought it up. I need to figure out how to market myself through the internet. So I don't really have much to say on it because I don't know anything about that. I'm still learning it. But if I were to give advice to someone trying to start up a comedy community again in the IE, it would be just keep that circle close, man. Keep their circle close with people that you trust that aren't gonna fuck around, that aren't gonna waste your time, that aren't going to make life harder. Hold on one second.
And that know how to kill a fly. Make sure you got friends that know how to kill flies.
Fuck.
But I'm back.
Okay. God damn, dude. What the fuck?
There's a part of me that feels like if you just stopped killing the flies in your house, it would just become an entire room of fly, like just a wall of moving, just disgusting.
It is really gross, man.
Yeah, I bet.
Hold on one second.
This is the whole last couple of minutes of the podcast. He got another one, guys.
Ah, fuck. Anyway,
This episode is going to be called Aaron versus Flies. That's just that. It's been too long coming.
the hotter it gets, man.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So to keep the circle small, like I remember first starting it and people being like you're putting too much energy in and you got to wrangle. And I don't know, just advice. And keep the fucking circle small. Like if you are like me, if there's a young ruffian who wants to start up a scene, keep the fucking circle small. Most people are bullshitting you. Most people are wasting your fucking time and your energy. Most people. Like, I'm very adamant in that belief now that you need to make a montage of just me versus flies.
Yeah. I
anyway. No, man, most people.
That feels like a mega cut that happens like when the podcast is popular beyond our wanting it to be popular, and then people are like, I watched every episode and I cut together all the time that Aaron was freaking weird with flies.
There's so many. There's so many. No, man, just keep the circle small. Like, so it is. I mean, we've talked about it so many times. I've asked like perspectives about it, and I think I understand the perspective of it now a little more. That essentially, I'll put it in my own words, that essentially in their heads, they want to do this, which is why they say it out loud. Mm-hmm. So like in their heads, they want to be a comedian. So they say, I want to be a comedian. Or in their heads, they like, I want to make a show. So they say, I want to make a show. I want to get on a show, so they say it. But they don't actually ever intend on fucking doing it. So they end up wasting your time. So, and I'm not, this isn't to say, like, Aaron looks like a daddy long leg killing all us. Hey. I take it as a compliment. Spider-Man. Anyway, daddy long leg man. So, no. They
appreciate the daddy connotations, but I'll let it be.
They're wasting your fucking time, and I don't think, in many ways, I don't think it's malicious. It is malicious. There's people that are malicious. I've experienced it, but I don't think that most people are malicious about it. But it's still fucking irritating, and it's still getting in my way. So get the fuck out of my way is how I feel about it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What would you say to a scrappy young upstart who doesn't care about the community and like just wants to get on themselves?
Then, but still making shows?
Sure.
Wait, what? Can you reword?
I meant the opposite of what you're saying. I meant like instead of doing I'm going to build a comedy community, just like, no, I just want to do comedy.
I would say good, but don't fuck people over. That was like, if the mentality is selfish, if the mentality is I just want to be successful as a comic, I support that by all means, but do not fuck people over. Don't use, because I've met comics, or I've had to deal with comics who have this mentality of I just want to get on, and I support that mentality. As I like that mentality, but their process of getting on is slimy and is gross. And
you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a thing that Dro showed me recently. Have you seen the guy who accosts 50 Cent to watch his IG?
Wait, what happened?
Oh, it's amazing. This came out like this week. So 50 Cent was walking somewhere with his girl, I assume to go get something to eat. And this dude runs up on him with his other friend who has a camera. And he's like, bro, check out my IG. Like, what do I need to show you that'll make you, like, watch my stuff? And, like, he's like, no, dude, I'm about to go eat dinner. And then, like, he starts trying to square up with 50 Cent. He's like, no, dude. He's like, what are you going to, like, what is, like, get out. And he's like, what are you going to punch me? The guy's like, what are you going to punch me? And 50 Cent's like, no, I just, like, what's with the camera? Like, why are you, he's like, no, that's just, like, and then the guy behind the camera's like, he just wants you to see his IG, man. He just wants you to see his IG. He's like, there's nothing 50 Cent's like, there's nothing you can show me that will make this okay. Specifically, your music, I don't care about it. You are not going to make it. And he's like, why do you say that? You haven't even listened to my stuff, bro. It's like, because this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing you can show me at this point that changes my mind about how messed up it is that you're doing this to me. That you're like interrupting my day, my life, because you want to get on. And it's like his crazy mentality. Like, I'm just crazy about my art, bro. I just think my art is so good. And it's like, yeah, that's why you don't get. It's like I can't remember who it was. It was somebody else, some other stand-up comedian. He had a special, and they said in it that like, oh, I think it was Hannah. What's her name? I can't remember.
Hannah Gatsby. Not Hannah Gatsby. Yeah, Hannah Gatsby.
Is it Gatsby?
Yeah.
Lesbian woman from Australia.
Nanette. Yeah.
Yeah, Nanette. Yeah, I think it's in Nanette that she like has that part where she's like, the reason that what's his name didn't get on in his century is because he was such a crazy person that nobody could communicate with him. And it was like, I can't sell your stuff because you're such a crazy. Like, It was like that. And it's like that mentality is why a lot of people, again, if you get past the first layer of laziness, first it's laziness,
yes.
Then it's like high ego. And then once you get past those two layers, you're honestly just like, what's the word? It's like a endurance. It's just an endurance game. If you're not in your ego and thinking you're better than, or like trying to push your stuff on people and being self-centered, and you're not being lazy and you're willing to put in the work, like at that point, it's just a clock that's running out. And I know that's weird coming from us because we're not exactly on right now, but trust and believe it's gonna happen. Like I said, it's an endurance game. It doesn't matter how long it's like, it's gonna happen just because we keep doing it, just because we don't stop. Because eventually we will have come up in conversation so much that people will be like, I'll see it. And then we'll have jokes and then we'll make the laughs and they'll be like, that's good enough. And then they'll put us on another thing and another thing and another thing until we're in that lane. It's just an inevitability. And the thing that makes it easier, in the same way that it is agitating when you're dealing with them as somebody who's running a show, right, is the same reason you're like, well, then I'm going to be good. Yeah. Like if this is how they're coming at me, when they get to, if they get to where they get to, they're going to try to keep this same mentality, and it's not going to work with higher ups than me. It doesn't work with me. So I'm like, I'm good. Because I also know I'm not doing this to people. On some level, I just know that as another person, when I am a part of a thing, I'm a part of the thing. I'm trying to be as helpful to the thing as possible. I want it to go well, so I'm not pushing my agenda or what I want. Or me, like I'm very not me-centric when it comes to being a part of a show. When I'm on stage, I'm a little bit more like it's me time. But like when I'm off stage and the technicals of getting to where I gotta be, like helping the way I can help, giving them the information that they need, any of that stuff, like that's not about me. I want the group project to go well, and I'm gonna do my part of the group project. But, again, we could talk at length about people's disappointing qualities. But, again, you got to take it, again, this is why I'm half full, is because I just see that as more evidence that we're destined, as much as destiny is an arguable thing. It's just like, if that's all you're up against, if all you're up against is people who are like that, then it's like, well, then I just got to keep doing it and I'll be fine.
Yeah, and I agree. It's like, just don't be slimy. Just be pure about it.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do it, it's not even with stand-up. What can keep it with stand-up? It's not even with stand-up. Just the guy with 50 Cent, he's like, I just care about my art. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because if that's what you cared about, you would not be finding 50 Cent and following his ass around. You'd be focused on your fucking art.
Right.
So it's like they want to cut corners. I think the sliminess is coming from the desire to cut corners and just get there faster. And don't get me wrong, I rush. I'm very rushy, but I'm not cutting corners. I think that's the difference. Is like I'm like hitting it hard because I want to get there faster too. But no corners are getting cut. I'm just doing things. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. I get what you're saying. You're just you hit it harder and are getting it's yeah. It's not like the assignment. You're like, oh, I won't do that part because it'll get done faster if I just kind of let that part go. You're like, I'm working through the part, but I'm working through it fast. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done. But you're doing every single part of the assignment, as it were, metaphors.
And I need to slow down in many ways. Like I need to force myself to chill, but it's, I think, you know, man, I think I find people like that insulting. Like on a personal level, it's insulting to me because I've been working so hard at all of this. The idea of like, I don't think I'm ever going to forget about that first show that I was asked to do at the Hideaway. I told you about this.
Not that I can recall.
I'm not going to get into the details of people and whatnot because, again, I don't like drama and all the bullshit. But just for the sake of the story, the Hideaway in the very beginning when it started doing well, and I was another comic asked me to, or asked, like, said, I want to make a show at the Hideaway on the weekends. In my head, I was like, okay, like my fucking Disney eyes got wide and I got big old smile. I got excited because I was like, yeah, more comedy for everybody. And so I was like, okay, I'll put my name on the line to the manager and say, this person wants to make a show. Can we make a show? And I did that. And then the show started and they just didn't help. They weren't around. Did I not tell you about this?
No, you did. You did.
Okay.
It was. You didn't specifically say it was the first Hideaway show ever. Yeah, I thought those were like that was a catch-all that explained different times that had happened to you.
Oh no! That it was the first booked Hideaway show that we had. It was how me and George linked up and started kind of moving forward.
Yeah,
and it was like it's like thinking about that now, where I'm at now versus where I was at before. Where I was at before, I can totally see why that happened. Like I would never have fallen. I would not fall in that trap now. But now looking at it with hindsight, it's really insulting. It's insulting because it's like I'm trying to fucking do this, and you're making it harder. Like it's one thing to worry about yourself and to try to be successful. There's nothing wrong with that. But you are pushing my head under the water to push yourself above the water. And it's like, I'm just trying to swim, man. I'm trying to swim with you. Can you not push me under the fucking water? So now I'm just, stay away from me. I want to go into the jacuzzi. Everyone stay the fuck away from me.
right.
I don't want to get my head pushed under the water anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So yeah.
And that is why we are here where we are today, where Aaron is in his selfish. He on his him tip. He just doing him and don't nobody get none of this street time.
I'm happy, but you successfully did it without them, so fuck them. Oh, thanks, man. It's funny, man. Like I'm just happier not going to work. Happier just doing stand-up. I don't give a fuck if I have to do Postmates. At least I don't have a boss breathing down my neck and I can drive around, listen to music. I'm just happier. Like I can sleep whenever I need to sleep. I work out now because I have the fucking time to work out. Just happier. And I feel bad for anybody suffering through all of this stuff. Yeah. But I really hope that all of this shows, fuck, I almost got it.
So close.
I know. I really hope that all of this shows people, like, don't waste your time with bullshit. That's what we were doing. We were all working ourselves to death. Don't waste your time with it. It's a fucking waste of time. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What time is it on your side?
We just hit 18 minutes and 17 seconds.
All right, then we'll wrap it here. You guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of A to Z, you guys. I've been Zero Rimson. You can find me on Instagram at @0_KR_anime. You can find Aaron Chase at Aaron Chase 91. Sorry, no underscore. At Aaron Chase 91 on Instagram. You can find us both in this podcast as a whole on the Buddy System Comedy YouTube channel. It has all the episodes of A to Z. You can also listen to Aaron's ACMM podcast there or on Podbean. You just search Buddy System Podcast, Buddy System Comedy Podcast. What else? Yeah, you can watch my YouTube stuff under Zero Rimson. Just Google Zero Rimson, Rimpson. That was all of the stuff for today. Hopefully Aaron kills all the flies in his room. Thank you for tuning in to us, and we hope to see you next week. Bye.